Hello everyone. Today we are going to do one very interesting topic, and that is calendars. Now you would see questions from calendars coming in every exam, in every aptitude exams, be it ALET, MHCET or SLAT or CHRIST. There would be 2 to 3 questions on calendars every year in each of these exams. So this is an important topic as far as the number of questions that are being coming from these from calendars, because in each exam, even if we have 2 questions, and the questions on calendars can be solved really easy, and they are sure short mark fetcher questions for you. So in this session we will cover the basic concepts required to crack a questions based on calendars, and we will also look at 1 or 2 variations of questions that are being framed on calendars. And again we will continue calendars in one more session covering more variations in the questions. So let's get started with the basic concepts first. Let's first understand what kind of questions are being framed on calendars. The most common type of questions which is asked from calendars is finding the day for a given date. That means आपको एक डेट दी गई है, उसके लिए आपको वीकडे निकालना है. That is the most common type. The second type is you have been given a date and a day also, एंड इसके रेफरेंस में एक दूसरी डेट का हमको डे निकालना है. ठीक है, देयर इज अ स्लाइट डिफरेंस इन बोथ ऑफ दीज काइंड ऑफ क्वेश्चंस. Okay, we will be taking n number of examples to understand the difference in a much clearer way. And the third variation which is asked on calendars is finding a year having the same calendar, and then of course there are few questions on the exceptions. So we'll be looking at each kind of questions one by one with sufficient illustrations. Now, when we talk about calendars, we talk about months, year, days, and we know any year can be categorized as ordinary or leap. Now, what exactly is ordinary year? Ordinary year is a year which has 365 days. And when we want to see how many weeks happen to be in 365 days, that means we'll divide 365 by 7. We'll get a quotient as 52. So we know 365 days means 52 weeks. And we get remainder as 1. That means there was one particular day which could not become part of any week, and we call it as one odd day. So what we need to remember, that every ordinary year gives us one odd day. Similarly, leap year, wherein the February has 29 days, that is one extra day. So in all, a leap year has 360 days, translating to 52 weeks and 2 odd days. So I need to remember a leap year gives me 2 odd days. Now the occurrence of leap year happens at a gap of every 4 years. So every 4th year is a leap year. There is some exception in this, which we will be looking at in a while. Now, how do we identify whether a particular year is a leap or not? The test here that we use is the divisibility by 4. So we take the last 2 digits of the year and we divide that number by 4. If that particular number is divisible by 4, then we can conclude that this is a leap year. If not, then it is not a leap year. For example, if I have 1972, the last 2 digits happen to be 72. 72 is divisible by 4. It is divisible by 4. So we would say 1972 is a leap year. Whereas if I take, let's say 1986, 86 as a number is not divisible by 4. So we would say this is not a leap year, rather it's an ordinary year. That's a simple test of divisibility by 4 to check whether a year is leap or not. Okay. Now the divisibility rule of 4 is that we divide the last 2 digits by 4. If it is divisible, we can say the entire number is divisible by 4. Another test is that if the last 2 digits of a number happen to be 0, then also the number is divisible by 4. Now, if we extend that rule to a century year, now every century year has two zeros at the end, and if I use this rule here, I would be saying that every century is a leap year, but no, that is not the case here. For centuries, the rule changes a little bit. It is slightly twisted here. You need to keep in mind that not every century year is a leap year. In fact, for century year, we do not check the divisibility by 4, rather we check the divisibility by 400. So if we have a century year, we will divide it by 400. If it is divisible, then we can say that it is a leap century. If it is not, then it's not a leap century. That particular century year cannot be considered as a leap year. So if we look at some previous 4-5 century years, like starting from 1600. Now 1600 is divisible by 400. So it's a leap year. 1700 is not divisible by 400. It's an ordinary year. 1800 is also not divisible by 400. So it's an ordinary year. 1900 is also not divisible, ordinary year. 2000 is divisible by 400. It's a leap year. So what you need to keep in mind that not every century year is a leap century or a leap year. Rather, every 4th century is a leap year in itself. Now for the type 1 question where we are given a date and हमको उसके लिए day निकालना है, तो our benchmark or our calculation starts from a previous leap century. So for any year till 1999, our calculation will start from 1600. Our benchmark or the reference date has to be the previous leap century. Any year beyond 2000, 2001 and beyond, the benchmark year would be 2000. Now let's understand why are we saying our reference date is a previous leap century and how to include that in a calculation. Now when we look at the first 100 years after a leap century, for example I have taken here 1601 to 1700. What we will be doing here, we will be calculating the number of odd days in the first 100 years after a leap century. Now 1601 to 1700, we have total 100 years, and in these 100 years we have 24 leap years and 76 ordinary year. 76 is derived from 100 minus 76, 100 minus 24, the balance 76. Now some of you would say that 100, when I'm dividing 100 by 4, I should get 25 leap years, but I have written here 24. Remember that, just keep in mind that 1700 is not a leap year. So we have taken the count of leap years in these 100 years to be 24 and not 25. So every leap year gives us 2 extra days, whereas every ordinary year gives us 1 odd day. The total comes out to be 124. We divide by 7, we get remainder as 5. In calendars, whenever your number goes above 7, you need to divide it by 7, because essentially the crux of this chapter is that we are not looking at those days which have become part of a week. Rather, we are looking for those days which could not become part of the week. So that is determined by dividing whatever the number of days you have by 7, and the remainder gives you those odd days which could not become part of a week. Now what you need to take from here as a concept, that any 100 years or the first 100 years after any leap century will give you 5 odd days. So the first 100 years after a leap century will give you 5 odd days. This is something you need to take as a concept from here. Now we'll calculate number of odd days in the first 200 years after a leap century. That is, for example, like 1601 to 1800. Now we'll slightly use the unitary method here, that if 100 years have 5 odd days, 200 years will have 10 odd days. If this number is greater than 7, we'll divide by 7. What I need to keep with me is 3 odd days. So the first 200 years after the leap century will give me 3 odd days. Now, calculating number of odd days in the first 300 years after a leap century. Again, if 100 years gives us 5 odd days, 300 years will give us 15 odd days. 15 divided by 7, we'll be left with 1. So I have tabulated this, and then it becomes easier for you to understand what you need to retain. So this is what you need to keep with you, or keep as a concept, or retain as a data with you, which will help you in solving calendars questions. So the first 100 years after a leap century, like 1601 to 1700 or 2001 to 2100, will give us 5 odd days. 200 years will give us 3 odd days. 300 years will give us 1 odd day, and 400 years will give us 0 odd days. This is something you need to remember. Also in calendars, one thing that you need to keep in mind, if I'm getting 1 odd day as my answer, the weekday would be Monday. In calendars, the week starts from Monday. If you're getting 2 odd days, answer should be Tuesday. If you're getting 5 odd days, your answer would be Friday. This is the general convention that is being followed in calendars. Week starts from Monday and 1 odd day corresponds to Monday, and so on, so forth. If you're getting 7 odd days or 0 odd days, the day of the week would be Sunday. Also, to make a calculation faster, we could learn here that what are the number of odd days in a month. That will save some kind of calculation work for us. Now here January has 31 days. Now when I divide 31 by 7, I get remainder as 3. So I can say January has 3 odd days. February has 0 in an ordinary year. Whereas February will give us 1 odd day in case if the year happens to be a leap year. So you need to take care of this. March has 31 days, 3 odd days. April 30 days, 2 odd days, and so on and so forth. You can see another important thing that you need to keep in mind, July and August are the only 2 consecutive months in a year which have the same number of days, 31 each. So both of them will give you 3 odd days. September 2, October 3, November 2, December 3. Now let's understand how do we calculate day for a given date. I've taken an example here, 15th August 1947. Now since the year given here is 1947, and I have explained you earlier that for any year the benchmark or the reference date is the previous leap century. For the year 1947, the previous leap century is 1600. So we would have to start a calculation from 1600. So part 1, like we are moving from 1601 to 1900. These are 300 years, and we have just noticed that 300 years will give us 1 odd day. Then in the 19th century, in the 20th century, we would be moving from 1901 to 1946. Now this is where most of the students make a mistake. They would take 1947, but we would not be taking 1947. Why? Because we are not using the entire 1947. We would be stopping at 15th August. So you have to take care of this thing, that when you're calculating years, you would have to stop a year before. So we will be talking about the duration 1901 to 1946, which are total 46 years. Now in these 46 years, we will look at how many odd years and how many ordinary years and how many leap years. So 46 divided by 4 will get 11. So we can say these 46 years have 11 leap years, and the balance 46 minus 11 happens to be 35. 35 ordinary years. Each leap year gives us 2 odd days. Each ordinary year gives us 1 odd day. We get 35 plus 22, that's 57. 57 divided by 7, we get 1 odd day. So from all these 46 here, I am getting 1 odd day here. And the part 3 would be moving from 1st Jan 1947 to 15th August 1947, because we are not using the entire 1947. We will go and stop at 15th August. So we'll calculate the number of odd days from 1st Jan to 15th August. Now here our work that we have already done, that we have calculated number of odd days in a month, that will prove handy here. Now in January, we are using the entire January. We know 3 odd days. February, this is a non-leap year, 0. March is again 3. April is 2. May is 3. June is 2. July is 3. And August, are we using the entire August? No, we are going till only 15th August. 15 divided by 7, remainder should be 1. Now counting or adding all these numbers together, we'll be getting 17 here. If we add up all these numbers, 3 plus 0 plus 3 plus 2 plus 3 plus 2 plus 3 plus 1, we get 17. 17 divided by 7, remainder is 3. Now I have broken down this question in 3 parts. In one part I have got 1 odd day. In part 2 I have got 1 odd day. Part 3 I have got 3 odd days. Totaling up, we get 5 odd days. And whenever we are getting 5 odd days, the weekday would be a Friday. Because we are counting 5 from Monday. So we can say 15th August 1947 is a Friday. That's how we approach these questions. Now you must be wondering, this is too much of a work. Okay, this is a slightly lengthier method to calculate day for a given date. And can there be a faster way? Yes, there is a faster way. But for using that particular way, you need to remember some codes which are known as the month code and the year code. If you can remember those codes, then these questions become probably a 30-second or a 40-second thing. You won't have to do such a long calculation. So let's look at the alternate way of solving these questions. Now, as I've said, in this particular method, you need to remember month code and the year code. Month code, January is 0, Feb is 3, March is 3, April 6, May 1, June 4, July 6, August 2, September 5, October 0, November 3 and December 5. So you can remember it as a number 0336146250035. You need to devise your ways how you can remember the string of 12 numbers. If you have this, your job becomes really easy. Also, year code, from 1600 to 1699, the applicable year code would be 6. From 1700 to 1799, the year code is 4. 1800 to 1899, the year code is 2. 1900 to 1999 is 0, and again the cycle repeats. So year codes are repeated in the manner of 64206420. Let's see how we can use these codes. Only effort that you need to put in this method is remembering these codes. Otherwise, solution is really easy. So you've taken the same example, 15th August 1947. Now here, for using this method, we need to add up 5 digits. What are those 5 digits? Firstly is the date. So date we have is 15. Year, the last 2 digits of the year. The last 2 digits of the year, which is 47 year. Month code, that is August. The month code of August is 1, because here it's 15th August. Year code is 0. For 1900 to 1999, the year code happens to be 0, and our year is 1947. And the last thing to be added is the quotient when the year is divided by 4. That means when I'm dividing 47 by 4, I only want to look at the quotient. If there's any remainder coming, let it be. So quotient here comes out to be 11. Now adding all these numbers, which numbers? 15, 47. The month code for August is 2. Year code happens to be 0 because 1947 comes in the time duration 1900 to 1999, and the year code for this particular duration has to be taken as 0. Quotient when the year is divided by 4, that means when I'm dividing 47 by 4, I only have to look at the quotient. If there's any remainder coming, then let it be. So we'll add up, we'll put 11 here. Now adding all these numbers, which numbers? 15 plus 47 plus 2 plus 11. We get 75. Total comes out to be 75. 75 divided by 7. Remainder comes out to be 5. So we're getting 5 odd days as an answer. And as we have just seen, if it is 5 odd days, our weekday is Friday. So there are 2 methods to solve this kind of question. You need to see what you're more comfortable with. If you can remember the code thing, if you can retain that thing while solving your paper, this method is absolutely much more faster than the earlier method that we have discussed. Let's take one more example on this so that you have a better understanding of how to use this code method. So another date, 11th May 1857. So we'll add up, we'll put up date 11, year is 1557, 1857. So we'll take 57. Month code for May is 1. Year code, year is 1857, so year code is 2. And quotient when the year is divided by 4, that means when we are dividing 57 by 4, the quotient comes out to be 14. Adding all these numbers, we get 85. 85 divided by 7. We get a remainder as 1. So we're getting 1 odd day. So we can say 11th May 1857 would have been a Monday. Okay. You can go to Google and cross check also, but this is actual data. That means you can always go back and cross check. And if you can see here, this method is definitely more efficient and faster than the earlier method. So you need to take some efforts on remembering the codes, the year code and the month code. So we get our answer as Monday, which is the correct day for 11th May 1857. So in this session, we have understood the method for finding day for a given date. In the next session, we'll be looking at the other variation when a reference date has been given and we need to calculate day for another date in context of the reference date. We'll also be looking at those questions where it is being asked to find the next year having the same calendar as that of a given year. So we'll be covering these two things in the next session. So thank you. Bye-bye.